Guys, there is more problem for Junior Pope's family because right now the community where he died are demanding that he should be buried near the river where he drowned. And also, the only actor to survive the boat accident might be in trouble because right now people are blaming him for causing the accident or because of something he did while the boat was in transit on the river. But let's start with what Junior Pope's family are facing because news are now circulating that since Junior Pope drowned in the River Nile in Asabade, the community where his body was, received, where these people were trying to take him from one native doctor to the morgue to the hospital, are now demanding that his body should be taken to the riverside for burial, and that his family cannot take his body home for burial because by right and by tradition, anyone who dies in the river should be buried near the river. Otherwise, there are grave consequences that may befall the family or generation of that said person. There were even rumors or words that members of the community tried to go to the mortuary where his body was placed to seize it or gain control of it because they really wanted to hold it hostage till either the family provides a huge amount of money for some kind of ritual or they bury him in their land. And this is ridiculous because I don't know if Junior Pope is from that community. He only went there for a movie shoot and he had the accident there along with other people and drowned. And we've also confirmed that 5 people in total lost their life in the Nollywood boat accident. And as at the time Junior Pope's body was found, it was only his and another person's that were found on the same day the accident happened, on the 10th of April 2024. The next day, the 11th, 2 more bodies were found, which belongs to that of the makeup artists that have been circulating around the internet. And as at the time of making this video, it is believed that 1 more body is yet to be found, which is said to be the young sound producer who worked in the movie set. Now, it's not clear what Junior Pope's family are going to do regarding, transporting his body back home for burial. And it's also not clear who would be held accountable because I feel someone has to pay. However, though, someone did say that if his family doesn't bury him in that river, they would have to pay the sum of nearly 40 million naira. However, though, I was on the live of one Nollywood actor who was at the scene while they were searching for the other bodies that had not been recovered the day of the accident. And he made a claim that the 2 bodies had been found. However, the villagers or the community people would keep the body until the loved ones and family members of the deceased, of the people's body that was brought out of the water, perform some kind of sacrifice by bringing 2 cows and paying a sum of money and also doing some kind of miscellaneous. Pretty much they got to do some kind of sacrifice before the body can be released to the family of these loved ones.
It might continue tomorrow again because I don't know for some reason. They said the gods of the water are really angry. I don't know why they are so angry. We don't know what transpired in the boat that was crossing them, but for some reason, the people in charge of the water are angry, and that is why they have requested for 2 cows. So they've requested for 2 cows for sacrifice. They've requested for 2 cows for sacrifice. You know, we don't know. It's the major challenge now. We have to provide these people with 2 cows, and they will have some other things we have to buy. Like all those things they use for ritual purposes and sacrifices to appease the spirit god in the river to let us take the dead bodies to their family. I'm just praying it's going to work because if 2 cows and a few other things are what we'll have to provide to take our late dead bodies to their family for them to bury them, then.
But the only thing, or my only confusion was when it came to Junior Pope's body, we heard that the family would have to spend so much money, so many millions, up to 40 million, before his body can be released to them, or they will bury him in that river. However, when it came to the other people, we are hearing they're only going to pay 2 cows or buy 2 cows and do some other miscellaneous, which confused me. Although I like to believe that it applies to all of them, like the two cows and the other things that Nollywood would have to spend, because I hear Nollywood is the one that would finance the whatever is happening or whatever had happened to these people. So whatever money they would have to pay for those people's body to be released back to their family after the sacrifice is done, I like to think it applies to Junior Pope too, because I don't know why Junior Pope's own case is almost 40 million and these people's own are just two cows. It's giving, it's not making sense. It's not balanced, in my opinion. I'm assuming that after they do that sacrifice, there would be no need for them to be buried near the river. So we're just getting an update now that the two bodies that were recovered from the river belonging to the makeup artist Abigail and to one of the crew members had been buried beside the river. Initially, while they were waiting for the body, the community people told the loved ones of these victims that they have to raise a certain amount of money to fulfill the rites necessary for their body to be given back to their family. Otherwise, their remains will be buried beside the river. And we thought that it was going to be raised by Nollywood. We thought that the Actors Guild or a group of people who are influential in the industry would be able to come up with this money for these people. But a source said that they tried to raise the money as fast as they could, but they weren't able to raise it on time. And so the community people had to bury the makeup artist Abigail and the camera assistant guy. Still at this point, Precious's body, the sound guy, is still in the river. So maybe if an update comes up before we upload, we'll try to ship it in. But it's really unfortunate. It's really sad and painful. And I got to run into Abigail's TikTok page, and she seemed to be just a young girl making an honest living. It's being said she's from Akwa Ibom, and part of the reason why they could not raise money was because her parents are not well to do. She is the graduate. She's the only graduate in her family. She's the only one doing something, this tangible in her family. She's the breadwinner of her family. And you could see videos of her in her graduation, sharing it with her mom and dad, videos of her going to NYSC. And it's painful to see that this girl whose bright future was ahead of her had her life cut short. This is not something you can get back. There is no amount of ritual that can bring this back. I can't imagine the pain the family will be feeling now. It's my condolences to them because, may the good Lord have mercy. So nothing has been said about Junior Pope's body. I guess since he's the biggest celebrity here, it will be easy for them to come up with the money. If at all, it's the same thing as the other ones because we were hearing theirs will be more expensive for a reason unknown to us. But if it's just the two cows and a little gift here and then I'm sure since he's more popular and has more influence and, has more money, hopefully it will be easy for the family and loved ones and fans to raise it for his body to not be buried near the river. Now let's come back to TC Virus. Now, TC Virus was said to be the only surviving actor in that crew. An actress or two survived, and some other crew members also survived, as I heard. I don't know how many people were in the boat, but a few of them survived. The director survived, the producer survived, TC Virus survived. The girl that got 2 million naira, or was it 1 million naira from Davido, survived. The boat captain, the driver, survived. Now, for these survivors, it seems like the finger pointing has begun, and many people are pointing fingers at TC Virus because they claimed he did something that may have caused the accident to happen. The first claim was that he stood up while the boat was in transit, and that interrupted the view of the captain, who did not see the incoming canoe that they crashed into that caused their boat to somersault. From what TC Virus said, their boat hit the tip of a canoe that was passing by, which meant that that canoe would have completely passed by, or the rider would have swerved a little to avoid it, but it was too late. They hit the tip. However, it was said that While this whole thing was going on, the police came and the rider was arrested and questioned, and that the boat captain claimed the reason why he hit the canoe that caused the accident was because one of the actors was standing up and ringing a bell in the river, and because of that, he could not see completely. And there's a video going around showing TC Virus actually standing up, shirtless, and ringing the bell into the river. But the video seems like that was not the moment the accident happened, unless he did it multiple times, unless he did it more than once, because in the video, we saw him stand up and we saw him sit down. So at what point did it happen? Because if he sat down, maybe he sat down completely for the rest of the ride, unless maybe he stood up again and did it. Unless maybe. And besides, it's been said that the canoe that they hit had already gone completely. That was just the tip, the last part of it that they crashed into, which in my opinion makes me believe that the rider should have known, should have seen it, regardless of who was standing up. He should have seen that, okay, this boat is coming. He should have done his mathematical calculation, because I know when driving a car, you could do some sort of calculation to know what space you have to give and how far you have to be away from a particular incoming vehicle. I don't know if that is the same thing for canoes and boats, but I guess maybe he should have done so rather than blaming it on the guy who stood up. And even if he stood up, this was his boat. You're the captain. You should give the rules and the orders. Now, the second accusation that TC Virus is facing right now is the fact that he rang a bell in the water, because that was the market day of the community and it's wrong to ring a bell in the water. I'm sorry, I feel like this part was just a reach. I don't want to disrespect anybody's tradition or belief, but he was ringing a bell. My confusion here was that I've heard people say that the point of ringing the bell, even TC Virus himself made it clear that throughout his journey in the water, he did certain things to appease the river spirit. He bought Fanta, he poured it in the river before they entered the journey. He gave money to the people swimming in the river. And, he did some incantations, some rites before he got into that boat. And while he was in the boat, the bell ringing was signifying to the river that we are passing, that people are passing. Some people interpreted it as he's trying to tell the water spirit that, oh, we are passing, oh, have mercy on us. However, though, people are saying he should not have done that on a market day, and that could have been the reason why the water spirit reacted the way it did, causing them to have the accident. But this is my thing, though. If that is the theory they are going with, if the bell that TC Virus rang was the reason why the water spirit caused the accident, why did he survive? Because if he was the cause, he should have died. It looks to me that what he did was kind of like why he survived. Because if his actions were the reason the water reacted the way it did, I feel like the water should have taught him a lesson. I feel like the water should have killed him. If we are going by that analogy, if we are going by the fact that his ringing of the bell upset the water, then explain to me why he is the one who survived with little injuries. And he was even able to help somebody stay afloat. Was even able to save someone's life. So I don't know. I just feel like accusing him of ringing the bell was the reason why the boat had an accident is just a reach to put this blame on someone else other than the people who should be taking responsibility for this tragedy. Him standing up to block the view of the driver, I call bullshit. People stand up in these boats all the time. People stand up in these boats. If standing up in a moving boat was a problem, it should have been a sign written somewhere, please do not stand up. But now that this tragedy has happened, everyone wants to shift blame. Everyone wants to put the blame on someone. So they will look for anything or any reason to just hold someone accountable. And I think that's what they're trying to do with TC Virus. However, though, many people are still holding him accountable for his actions. Some people are believing that that's the reason. And again, like I've said, if that was the reason, he would not have survived. If the water spirit was so angry at someone ringing a bell on a market day, the person who did the bell ringing should not survive. But he survived, and he can't even swim. So if we're going by the fetish analogy, then he did everything right. His incantations before he entered and the bell ringing was what kept him alive, was what made the water had pity on him. Accidents happen all the time. I don't know why we have to make it about spirits, angels, and demons, and juju and incantation. I don't know why we have to make it about it. But if we are going to make it about it, then at least it should make sense. It should be logical. If Aya Miri was angry at somebody ringing a bell and pouring Fanta or standing up, the person should not have survived. But the person did, which meant that was not the reason why the accident happened. So let's move past it. It's really unfortunate. It's sad. I do hope that the victims are recovered completely. And I do hope their bodies are given to their family. That is the least you can do. Not having to force the family to pay a certain amount of money. Well, let's just hope Nollywood takes care of that, because if these people had the money to buy 2 cows, I don't think they would be risking their life for only God knows how much they were going to get paid. Because from what I heard, the producer was not paying the people some of their money. This looked like she was just giving them an opportunity to be on set and use their talent. That is what we see in a lot of these grassroots movie industry. The budget is not sufficient, and they rely so much on cheap, free talent and an opportunity to give people exposure. And many people want to be on TV. Many people want to act. Many people want to show their craft. Some of them do this without pay because they are hoping to be on YouTube, be on television. So yeah, that's just it. That's really it. And let's just see how it goes.